What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today on Flake Garage, I'm going to be giving you a review of my Truxedo Lo Pro tonneau cover. I love this cover. I had it now over a year. I bought it at the beginning of 2019. Now it's closer to the end of 2020. So we had a lot of first-hand experience with this cover, a lot of usage out of it, and I can tell you about what I like and don't like about this cover. This is the Lo Pro, like I said, so it's a little bit higher and better quality than the Truxedo Truxport, which is their entry-level bed cover. The Truxport, it's around the $280 mark to about $300. The Lo Pro is going to be around the $500 mark. So it's just, like I said, just a step above their entry level one. It's still great covers, both of them. I had the Truxport in my Nissan Hardbody before, and I love the cover. I loved it so much that when I bought my Tacoma, I wanted to get another Truxedo cover, and that's why I decided to spend just a couple extra dollars and buy the Lo Pro one. So let's jump right into the review, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this cover, so maybe it'll help you if you're looking for one. Let's do it. Now this is the cover installed and rolled up. As you can see, this is about how much it's gonna take of space on the back, and you can kind of not move it further past this point because of the easy to set up bars down here. Now let me show you the side bars here. As you can see, this tie down is plastic. It's held up very nicely so far, no issues there, no signs of wear or anything like that. Now keep in mind, I also don't open and close my cover on a regular basis. It's more kind of spread out over time. If I need to haul anything big, then I'll open it. Otherwise, it just stays closed for the most part. This side is the locking mechanism. You have only kind of one plug you open here, and that keeps the whole cover in place. To install it is very easily. I did this by myself, so if you have someone that can help you, it's going to make it even faster and quicker to do. But if you are by yourself and you're thinking about doing this, don't be afraid. It's actually very, very easy. And that was another key point that the Lo Pro had, that they just made it even easier for you to install it on your own if you have to. The side rails are in place by 3 main bolts. It's going to be that one, this one, and this one. And I did have one of them kind of get loose over time. It might have been just my bad that I didn't tighten it as hard as I could have. But after I came back in here and just kind of gave them a good tighten and make sure they were all good, they've been staying in place just fine. I would say that if you want to just be extra sure that these bolts are not going to become loose, get yourself some blue Loctite and put a little bit on the threads before putting it in there, and that's going to make sure it's nice and secure and you will have that problem of coming off. The top part of it was very easy. Just a couple more bolts that you can tighten by yourself once you get it all set up in there. And the mechanism itself, this all comes in one piece. You don't have to mess with any of this, put it on it or anything like that. All you have to do is, once you put it where it needs to go, you might loosen this at first, and you have some locking mechanisms here that you can pull back. See, so that's one side that's open. Then if I go to this side, we can do pretty much the same thing. And as you can see, I'm doing it with just one hand. Very, very easy. Now this whole cover is basically ready to take off and pull back and out of the way in case you need to. So let me show you that real quick. And like I said, guys, this basically just pops open and it's all out of the way. And to put it back, you just make sure your rubber is on the other side, put it in place, and pop those locks back where they go. And you are all nice and secure and ready to go. So like I said, guys, installation should go pretty smoothly for the most part. It shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes to get all the side rails and the back installed. And if you have some help, it probably go even quicker than that. Now that is one point that I will give to the Lo Pro over the Truxport. That the Truxport did take a little bit longer just because you didn't have that easy to set up back piece, like where the actual bed cover was in, that took a little bit more work in trying to get everything straight and lined up where I needed to be. But on this one, it was a breeze. So I would say pretty nicely on that part. So we can move on to closing the bed cover, and I'll show you guys how it looks there. Now let's move on to the bed cover being extended, and one of the things I do want to talk about is this locking mechanism. To lock it, you have to press it, and it sounds very loud and very kind of fragile, like it might break easily if you do it too many times. But I've been doing it now for like close to 2 years, and it's been fine so far, so I think it's okay. I also have checked the plastics that kind of hold it in place, and that's been fine, so it's not a big deal. I do want to talk about this back part as well. When I first switched from the Truxport to this Lo Pro one, I did notice that it didn't kind of close like the Truxport does. The Truxport kind of makes a nice frame all around, and this one just kind of ended in this, I guess, aerodynamic angle or kind of sort of way back here. And I wasn't a big fan of it, I'll be honest. I wasn't too thrilled with that decision at first. But now that I had it for a long time and I used it for a while, I guess it doesn't really bother me anymore. It also makes it a little bit less noticeable from the back sometimes. Sometimes you can't even tell you have a bed cover up there until you get up close to the truck. So it's something that, you know, you just want to call attention to it, because if you are switching from a Truxport, like I said, you will notice that that's a lot different than it was on that cover. Now here we have the bed cover. I apologize for it being a little bit dirty. We had some couple rainy days, so it's been hard to keep it clean. But as you can see, after 2 years of usage, or pretty close to 2 years, there's really not a lot of main like bad spots in the cover. There's a lot of just dirt and stuff right now, but it comes off very easily. The only thing I can think of right now is maybe this little spot over here that I believe it was some bird poop that I left sit for a little bit too long. But as you know, that's kind of what happens if you let that sit anywhere, even in your paint. It's going to really ruin the finish on it. So I recommend that if you get any that kind of dirty and big spots like that, just clean them off as fast as you can. But besides that, the leather has held up very nicely throughout the past couple years. It's been good. Another good thing about it is the very low profile that we have here. That's one thing I like when I upgraded to this one. The Truxport just kind of sits a little bit taller, and then just it's a little bit more noticeable. It's a very nice profile. It looks very, it's just kind of going up and being lower than the normal bed cover would be. Let me show you this side as well. As you can see, it doesn't really stick out much, and the Velcro here has held up pretty well. I do recommend that if you do have it, whenever you are gonna tighten up, obviously do one side, get it as stretched out as you can, and then come back to the other side and stretch it out as much as you can this way. That way it's gonna keep it nice and stretch, and you won't have any water spots, which is another thing that sometimes if you don't stretch your cover very well, and it rains, you might have one side starting to pull up some water and just kind of sit in there. So try to avoid that as much as possible by pulling as much as you can from either side. Like I said, the Velcro has held up pretty nicely. It still sticks very well, hasn't kind of come off or gotten loose or anything like that. So, you know, it's been a good quality cover so far. Now, after almost 2 years of use, the one thing I have noticed is this ends of the bed cover are starting to get some of this kind of fabric peeling off and coming off. Now, it hasn't affected the bed cover in any way, but I have noticed that it happened on this side, on the right side, on the back, and then if we move to the front, it's also kind of happening here a little bit. Like I said, has not affected much as far as the function of the bed cover, but it is one thing that is happening to it that I notice. Now, I do want to stress out, like I said, I don't carry anything that's valuable or for long periods of time on my bed, so a roll-up cover was perfect. Because of that reason, I don't have to worry about what's on the bed, as I mainly use it to just cover the bed and just carry stuff from time to time that I don't want to be, you know, seen. If you are someone that is carrying maybe tools or something that's more valuable, I recommend you go with a hard cover. That's obviously going to protect your bed and your valuables a lot better than a roll-up bed cover. But if you're like me and just use your bed, you know, for carrying stuff here and there, or for maybe putting some stuff on the bag, you know, like nothing important that you're gonna just don't want to be visible to everyone, it's a perfect bed cover for that. It doesn't take up a lot of space. If you have a 5-foot bed like I do, that's a very important thing because a 5-foot bed is not that big. So if you are concerned about space that the bed cover is going to take, this one is great because it doesn't take up a lot of space as opposed to a hard cover. I personally don't like the hard covers. I feel they're too bulky and too in the way for me, so this fits all my needs. If you do not want to spend the extra money, I do recommend you go with the Truxport, which is a lot cheaper than this, and it does the exact same function. It's still a good quality cover, so I would still feel pretty comfortable recommending that cover as I used it in the past. And if you do have the little bit extra cash, then go for this one and you'll probably be just as happy. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully this review helps you out just from some first-hand experience of someone with this bed cover. So if you're looking into it, I'll link to this cover on the description, as well as the Truxport, which is the cheaper version of it. And cheaper is just in price because it's still a very good quality cover. So I'm not getting paid by any of this covers to sponsor or anything like that. This is just an opinion from someone that has used these covers and would like to let you guys know in case you're trying to make a decision on them. So that's all I have, guys. Thank you. Please like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and stay tuned for more videos on our mini trucks or on my Tacoma and more stuff that we got coming up. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.